Telling our stories is the connective tissue of the collective human experience. The Just Keep Talking podcast delves into the lives and stories of artists. What is the impact of mental health on creativity? What does it mean to be a creative individual? Someone who feels deeply, experiences joy and pain intensely, and navigates the challenges of life through the creative process. With each story shared, we explore the authentic experience of our basic need to be seen, to be heard, and to belong. We're really not so different from one another, nor are we alone. Together, we can inspire, encourage, and enlighten each other to find the true joy and fulfillment that is within ourselves. When we just keep talking, we create the space for gratitude, self-acceptance, and grace in everyday life. In a world filled with divisiveness, fostering inclusivity and connection is a powerful way to make a positive impact. The Just Keep Talking podcast with me, Brother Love, because your story matters.
All the way to Jackson, I don't think I'll miss you much. All the way to Jackson, I don't think I'll miss you much.
That is Denitia, my guest this week, taking us home with Jackson, recorded live during 2023's Americana Fest, hosted by yours truly, my band, Them Vibes, at the Basement East, right here in East Nashville, Tennessee. We recorded this interview back in August of 2023. I had just met Denitia at an event, and I was instantly attracted to her authenticity and magnanimous presence. Denitia has intention. Her intention is to create beautiful art, and her method is to live in the moment, being present and mindful of her natural surroundings. Her true calling, her true nature, if you will, is in country music. Since this interview, Denitia has released a follow-up record called Sunset Drive in 2024. Denitia was named an Artist to Watch by NPR, has been named 2024 CMT Next Woman of Country, and a 2024 Artist to Watch by the Nashville Scene. She's toured extensively with the Black Opry Review, been invited to perform at the National Museum of African American Music, and the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum in Nashville. Denitia has shared stages with Jason Isbell, Amethyst Kia, Wendy Moten, Joy Alaudican, among many, many other artists. I hope you enjoy getting to know her as much as I have. The Just Keep Talking podcast with me, Brother Love, because your story matters. I'm here with Denitia, my new friend Denitia.
Hi.
I'm your new friend. We're friends.
Yeah, it's true.
I just will say that we recorded something last week and it did not take. And for any of those who deal with technology, especially in our world, I don't know if you've ever experienced recording a song, working on something, especially back in the day. Now things back up, right? We have backup.
You have backups to the backup.
I remember my first record, 2004 in New York City, and I had done the best vocal take I had ever done. Like it was a delicate song. It was delicate, and I remember going home that night thinking, I really sang that song the way I envisioned it, and I felt wonderful. And the next day I come into the studio and my buddy who was the producer said, hey, so you ready to redo that song?
Woo.
And I said, are you kidding me? Well, we redid it. I had a bit of a breakdown after we met last week, Denitia. I had a breakdown. I had a serious breakdown because the technology didn't work. I had just met you. You're so honest. You were so wonderful.
Thanks.
And I thought, I am a piece of crap. My life, that's really, my whole day. Do you know what I did that day? I'm not kidding. So I went home. My wife had work. She was playing drums. And I went home that day and I ate a whole frozen pizza.
Oh.
Yeah. And I ate ice cream. I watched the documentary. It was called Hitler, the Career.
Wow.
Yeah, I watched. So I love World War II.
Right.
I love everything about it.
Cool.
I will watch everything about World War II. I mean, I know how it ends, right? I just thought, you know what? If I listen to Hitler, the whole story about Hitler, I'm like, life can't get worse than this, right? I mean, whatever my problems are no match for the Holocaust.
Of course.
I figured, okay, I feel my life's not too bad, right? And just part of your grace was that immediately after we recorded, you said, hey, we can just do it again.
Sure.
That was just so caring and gracious, and I thank you. And so here we are. We're here with Denitia.
We're here.
You're an incredible singer-songwriter.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you. Would you call yourself are you in the genre of country music?
I would say that I swim in and through and around
Yeah.
the genre of country music. You know, this particular genre is kind of tricky because when I think of country music, I'm thinking of more of a classic country, kind of from the mid-century into the 90s. But I realized that the genre of country music has evolved a lot into more of a pop vibe in terms of what people are calling country and what's on country radio. So we thank God for the Americana genre and the people who are kind of feeding life into that and sort of like fostering that community. So I think that Americana and country sort of fit.
Yeah, they absolutely do. This is a quote of yours. Country music has been so formative to me as an artist. It was my first notion of what a great song is, what beautiful music sounds like. What it means to me is the purest anchor of a human being communicating their story. I tripped over my words because if you see my handwriting, I look like I should have been a doctor. That's what everybody says. You really should have been a doctor.
Can you write scripts?
Believe
no,
you,
I'm just joking.
No, but my father would wish for, please, Lord, let him go be a doctor.
Yeah.
You can still go back to school.
Yeah.
Okay, Dad, I'll go back to school. And I just want to see him pay for it. Hey, Dad, guess what? Dream came true. I'm going to medical school. What?
Here's the bill.
Right. Sorry about your heart attack. Actually, I can help you, Dad.
Oh, my God.
I'm not going. I'm still a musician. You grew up in Houston?
I grew up around Houston. Yes, in the outskirts of Houston in small refinery towns about an hour outside of the city.
Yeah. Nashville's not new to you.
I am new to this version of Nashville. This certainly wasn't here when I lived here. And I mean, I moved away like 12-ish years ago, and the city rapidly changed. So it does feel kind of new to me, even though at the same time it feels like home.
When did you spend time in Nashville?
Yeah, I went to school here. I graduated when I was 16, and I moved here to go to Vanderbilt. Then after I graduated, I lived here for about 6 years. So because I was so young when I got to Nashville, it feels like I partially grew up here.
You did something that's what I think everybody should do if they can, is you went to the big city. You went to New York and Brooklyn.
Yeah, I was in it.
I've heard some of the music you recorded during that time.
Okay, sure.
And it definitely has a flavor of a little bit more of a just grittier, darker.
Yeah.
In 2020, you did a song called Nowhere, right?
Oh, right. Yes, I did that with my friend Quantic. That was a collaboration. And I just featured on a track with him.
That's later on in your city days.
Right.
But obviously a culmination of you being there. So
absolutely.
Could you say fairly that you're more of a well-rounded person? You know, the Houston area, Nashville, New York, back to Nashville. What does it feel like? Do you feel like a superhero?
I don't
like you have powers. You have way more powers. You have powers you don't even know you have. You have eyes everywhere. You have sight, but you have not just sight, my friend. You have vision.
Oh, yeah.
And I hear it in your music, which we'll get to.
That's cool.
But seeing all of these different angles, especially you are a woman of color. You are gay, queer.
Queer, yes.
Is that the right thing to say?
Sure.
Again, I don't know things.
You're good.
Good, thank you. So we were talking about this last time. I come from New York City, the great melting pot. We're all there, and especially in Queens, the borough of Queens where I grew up. Everybody was there. And I think, wow, I'm so blessed with being well-rounded. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean the person next to me wasn't completely racist, you know, and doesn't mean they weren't completely a jerk and just closed-minded, but everybody was there. Yeah. And we got along to this day. If I need something from one of my friends growing up, no matter what color, no matter what their sexuality, no matter what is, I wouldn't hesitate to call. They wouldn't hesitate to call. It's not even a thought.
Right.
Now it's all a thought. Now, you know what? I could really use I could use somebody of color right now in my world. You know, it's just a stupid world we live in.
I wouldn't say it's stupid. I think,
really?
Yes, I think there has to be some course correction for people who haven't thought about diversifying their lives or their workplaces or their art. And people that are in power have sort of benefited from the status quo, perpetuating the promotion and the benefit of white males in American culture. So that I think that now, like I said, there's a bit of a course correction that needs to happen where we have to kind of reach beyond the status quo and say, hey, there are people who are capable and have amazing perspective, intelligent, creative, artistic, that we need to reach beyond the things that we've been reaching for and diversify our lives
Yeah.
and our worlds. So I think that it's important for us to think and talk about ethnicity, nationality, race, sexuality, because if we don't, we are deciding to be willfully ignorant of the beautiful diversity that we live amongst.
Yeah.
So I think that it's actually remarkable that people are losing this illusion of being colorblind, because I'd like for you to not be colorblind. I'd like for you to see me for all the things that I am.
Yeah.
We talked about this last time. And I would like to see you for all the things that you are, and that's wonderful.
What I was getting at with the whole thing in New York is that now I look at New York and I see swastikas. You know, I see the racism. I see people don't want to have anything to do with anything other than the status quo. White male, you know, hey, it's been working this long, let's go with it. And obviously that's, you know, insane, because it just hasn't been working for more people than it has
hasn't
been
worked
working.
yet, actually.
You're right.
Our society hasn't really worked yet.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I grew up around people who were very unlike me. I went to private Christian schools, and I was usually one of like maybe 2 or 3 black kids in my school and in my church at the time. So I've always gotten the benefit of kind of seeing things from other people's perspective, and I value that. So I didn't grow up around people who were exactly like me, and then I was never challenged on the way that I see the world. You asked me if I feel empowered, and I feel that my mission is just to put beautiful music into the world that moves people while being myself. I don't have any agenda other than to create music that is beautiful to me, and to be a part of a community where I can enjoy other people's art and just share the moment of loving music and loving culture and loving art with other people. That's really my only agenda.
We met at an event at Vinyl Lab.
Right, yeah.
You seem very secure. And I saw you, and I was so attracted to you. I
Yeah.
just said, what is it about this person? You know, and we just spoke. And then we had the New York thing, and we just found out we're both Libras recently, which is cool.
We love that.
But like, you're so attractive, and that is powerful, because I realize now is that you are comfortable in your own skin. You know who you are. Did you always have this? Did you find yourself sort of primping and posing growing up? Because I know for me, I've been tap dancing my whole freaking life, performing, pleasing, and proving I can be whatever you want me to be, because I'm great at that. I am.
Totally.
I'm funny.
You
I'm
are
serious.
very funny.
Thank you. And by the way, I was a great partier. Oh my God, let me buy the round, my friend.
You're probably really good at it.
I was the best.
Yeah.
Oh, please. There's a plaque everywhere. You go in any bar in the world, brother. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, his money was no good here, because as long as he brought that party, the party came. I drank for everybody. I had a great time.
Yeah.
And I quit drinking, and I was afraid. Could I be funny? Could I be serious? Could I even sing? I've been trying to fit in. Put a mask on here, I'll change my mask there.
Yeah.
I'm going to this party, I'll put that mask on.
Right.
I didn't realize that I was just chasing some phantom that I made up.
Right.
As opposed to the feeling of belonging. You know, did you ever, growing up or in your travels, did you encounter the fact that, like, wow, this isn't me? Why am I doing this? Did that ever occur to you?
Totally. Well, I will attribute a lot of my sensibility to the way that I grew up. I was raised by just real, honest, hardworking people that are faithful and thoughtful and conscientious. So there was a lot that was poured into me as an only child as well. Some of my first experiences performing and being on stage, and I say performing with air quotes, was in church when I was leading praise and worship at my Christian school.
You were leading?
Yes. It was like me and, you know, other young people, and we had our band and we had our charts and we were playing songs, and those were my first experiences on stage. So I really value that, and I've only really started to realize this recently. I really value that because music was like being part of something greater than myself, greater than you, greater than all of us, and we were in service of something else. And that has always been a compass for me, even when I didn't know it. It's like, am I in service of something else? Because I really view music as something transcendent, spiritual, and not like in a woo-woo way that the music has to be woo-woo, but like it just zaps you into the present moment. And it brings people together that are from all different walks of life, different belief systems, different everything. And then we're just like in this moment together, whether I'm in the audience or listening to records or performing. That's like one of my favorite parts about music. So I think that I have at some times in my career and in my life strayed away from that. And then it instantaneously feels wrong. It feels off and wrong. I haven't always instantly gotten back on the right track, but it has led me to think like, oh, why does this feel so off? And it's like, oh, because I'm being self-serving. You know what I
the truth
mean?
really is funny when you hear it like that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I knew it was off because my ego was just running through, but it's so true.
Yes. And when I align myself with the intention of just being in a moment with people and acknowledge and realize the power of music, whether I'm the one making the music or I'm listening, then I'm just on the right track.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I'm lined up.
That's amazing. Good for you.
Well,
and kudos to I hope I get to meet your folks.
Oh, yeah, that'd be really cool.
That'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be great. I love all foods. Probably lactose intolerant, but what Jewish kid isn't? You know what I mean? I'm just setting it up.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I won't be offended if they put a little Manischewitz on the table. I'll be like, that's okay, thanks. That's church wine.
Oh, yeah, it's fine to drink.
Exactly. So I've been reading The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle, and it's exactly what you just said. I was on a gig last night and we were performing. There was some issues. It was a very broke down kind of cool. It was at Brown's Diner.
Oh, I know Brown's.
And now it has a little bit of a facelift in the way that management has changed.
Okay.
So it's like a trailer with like a little restaurant attached.
Yeah.
The servers, they're 180 years old each. They serve amazing regular hamburgers, cheeseburger, nothing fancy.
That sounds good right now.
Cheap, good beer, and just great. It's a neighborhood Nashville spot.
Yeah.
And they just had music there all the time. Them vibes. We have a couple of shows this week. Instead of paying for rehearsal time,
yes.
we book a live rehearsal.
That's rad.
Just book a free gig, whatever. So we were in the zone of like, we had a bass player that's just not as comfortable with the material.
Yeah.
He's just newer.
He needs to shed.
Needs to shed. It was a rehearsal, but it was a gig. So I use a delay pedal. Technology, not my friend. This stupid frickin' pedal. I swear I want to throw this thing through a wall. They had an original pedal and everything worked great. And then they had like the second coming of it.
Oh, sure. The
right?
2.0.
2.0. Guess what, folks? Sometimes 1 point is enough.
Yep. The sequel's not always the jam.
The sequel is not the jam. This stupid thing literally just craps the bed. And I've called them. I said, I need to find one.
What pedal is that?
It's a TC Helicon.
I was going to say.
It's a TC Helicon Doctor.
The digital joint?
All it does is digital delay and reverb. But it's a foot pedal. And if I want the tempo for a delay.
Yeah.
You know, I just tap my foot and it goes la, la, la.
Yeah.
But you set it and then it doesn't engage and it doesn't disengage when you want it. The light just does whatever it wants. The battery went out and somebody else's thing. Like we had issues last night, right? And there's people there like, wow. And people that haven't seen our band in like 8 years. The band is such a great band, you know, and we're a collective of friends that play with each other and all that. And all of a sudden, in the moment, my pedal's crapping out. We have an issue with this sound. My wife's kick drum pedal broke off real quick. This is all within 45 minutes.
That's a lot of different things, man.
My point is, it's very hard to be in the moment.
Yeah.
I did, though. I did, Denisha. I somehow didn't let it spiral me. I didn't let it get a hold of me the way it always has, where I would just say, this sucks. I'm having a terrible time.
Right.
And then I'm going to blame. Now I heard your mistake.
Yeah.
Now I heard my mistake.
Yeah.
Now this sucks. And all of it's crap.
Yeah.
And I just looked out and everybody was smiling.
Yeah, they're having a great
Everybody
time.
was having great. Then we found our groove because I think collectively we all just decided this is nothing. This is sweating the small stuff. Blah.
Yeah.
And I was so happy. And I was happy that I was happy. Because
That's so cool.
I was back in the moment.
Yeah.
It's taken a lifetime to say, just stay right here. Because the issues, the problems, the worries are all about the past or the future, right?
Yeah.
I'm pissed about what happened in the past.
And you're worried about what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's no room in the present moment. So
You'll miss your whole life like that, man.
yeah. And I've spent so much time of life that I've missed.
Yeah.
You know?
I know.
That's insane. Oh, I'm so tired right now. My God. Brene Brown
Yes.
has been like my lifesaver. If I could meet her,
Okay.
I would throw all the panties like a
Right.
rock star. She's like a rock. She's Robert Plant to me.
Yeah.
She's Paul McCartney to me. She saved my life. And she speaks about wholehearted living. And this reminded me of you. It's about integrity. And it's from Rising Strong, page 123, Brene Brown. Integrity is choosing courage over comfort, choosing what is right over what is fun, fast, or easy, and choosing to practice our values rather than simply professing them. You strike
cool.
me as all of that. Integrity is so important.
That's cool.
It is cool. You've been doing some things recently that I'd like to talk about, which has to do with your integrity. You did Together in Action,
Oh, yeah.
a fundraiser. Last week it was you, a good buddy named Chris Hausman,
Yeah.
who I just interviewed as well. Devin Gilfillian, I interviewed as well. He's great. Jason Isbell, maybe one day.
Yeah.
Julie Williams. What was that like and what was it?
Some friends of mine got together, and the story goes that they were just kind of all sitting around the kitchen table and thinking, like, what are we going to do? Like, how do we make change? We got to do something. And these friends of mine are the people that run the Black Opry,
Right.
which is a collective of Black artists in Americana, country, folk, and blues music. And alongside Autumn Nicholas, who is an incredible singer-songwriter, also based here, they came up with this idea to have a show, a benefit at City Winery, where we would have lots of artists playing and raise money to donate to Moms Demand Action, an organization working to prevent gun violence in our state and nationwide. In the aftermath of the Covenant School shooting, a lot of people have been just getting into action.
Yeah.
So part of the conversation has been that it's unfortunate that we have to do that and have these conversations, but the reality is that that's what's happening. And the show was incredible. It was beautiful. I mean, City Winery is such a gorgeous venue, and it's just really nice and elevated. And $20,000 were raised that night to donate to Moms Demand Action so that they can continue their incredible work. And some of them, you know, they're parents, so they are feeling this every day, this fear, and they're engaged with the community to stop senseless violence, especially towards our children. So it was an incredible night of music. The community thing for me is so important, and I'm just so blessed to be a part of the Nashville music community, especially because I just moved back a few months ago.
Yeah.
So it was an amazing community action night.
I think that is so beautiful. And the fact that you were invited, I don't know Jason Isbell personally, but I am absolutely aware of him.
Right.
And what he stands for and who he is, because he has integrity and he has character.
Yes.
Not one of you are patting yourselves on the back for such a brave thing that you're doing. You know, that's the part of this whole conversation. Aren't we just wonderful what we're doing for the people, you know, for those people?
Sure.
You understand that this is a responsibility. Your voice is being heard, your songs and your music, but also your character. You come back and you're being invited to do these things. And thank you for doing that. And thank you for being so open. I have friends and they just pat themselves on the back and they high five and they raise the money. Yeah, here's 20,000. Look at us. Aren't we great?
Right.
You know, but this work continues and continues. Right now, we are in a special session in Nashville and nothing is getting done. I mean, look, I didn't grow up with guns. I just didn't. Like, we had a friend down the street. My mother would say, she smoked. So everything was like, Larry, we don't want you hanging out with Mark Silberman because his parents has all the guns. And I was afraid, guns, ooh, wow, you know. But then I moved out of my little bubble of New York City.
Right.
And everybody's got guns. It's part, you know, fine. I'm not taking your guns. I don't care.
Totally.
So I appreciate that the governor brought this special session in.
Right.
But it's all just...
Might just be for show.
It's just, exactly. That's what it is. It's for show. They're taking people out of the session because they're holding up signs.
I know.
People are yelling. If you look at courts in England, which is, by the way, a lot older than America, right? The parliament, they yell in parliament.
Yeah.
People are screaming and yelling their opinions. That's part of it because their voices are being heard.
Yes.
Now you have parents, mothers, fathers with signs holding up, not one more kid. All of the pain and hurt. Just what's a sign, right? It's a sign.
Just a sign.
It's just a sign. We're here. We're an American population.
Right.
And they're being thrown out.
I know.
They're not heard. They're
Over
not
new
seen.
rules that they're just
Right.
making up on the spot,
Right.
which isn't
That's
the way it's supposed to work.
That's the first thing they did.
Yeah.
Okay, the session is in. What do we have on the agenda? Well, we've got... Wait 1 second. We should put some new rules here. Before we get to all this gun stuff, let's just make it so that all the people that are opposed to what we're saying or that want change, let's just make it so that the folks that want change can't have a voice for this change.
You're right.
That's the reality that we're living in. And the other side of the reality is that y'all just did something that raised $20,000. Y'all just brought people together at the City Winery. I was a part of a benefit that Grace Bowers put on, and that was for the same thing, for the Covenant School.
Great.
And it was Music Cares at the Basement East, and we raised it was about $20,000.
That's awesome.
And it was the feeling, the same deal, the community, people just donating their time, people just coming to the show, coming together. Doesn't it just make you nuts? Like when you look around, you're like, wow, seems like there's a lot of us that want change.
Yeah. There are.
You know?
There are.
I want to talk about you.
Okay.
I would like to talk about, since this is a bit about mental health and you have new music out, I love the fact that in your new videos, you have a new video for My Weakness, right? And there's a
Right.
song called Highways. Is it 2022?
Right.
Your new music from last year, your settings are all nature. There's something to be said about the health of our spirit by going back to nature is so important. You lived in this big city, New York. You're back in Nashville, and Nashville's a big city now. You know?
It is.
And I love watching your videos because you look like somebody who has a lot going on in the head office.
Interesting.
And yet you are set and positioned in the background of nature. And I just can't look away. I'm looking at you. You're singing. You're playing. It's a music video. You're doing what Denitia does on a day. You know, hang out in a beautiful area of nature and play guitar. And you're walking. You're contemplative. That's what it is. There's something going on with you. And obviously, listen to the lyrics and you'll know that that's what the song is about. Like, Highways. What were you thinking of when you were writing that? Was it just like a new beginning for you? Like, as far as like, all right, I'm going to sort of leave the New York thing. I'm going to come back to Nashville. Like this record, what was it feeling for you to do all that? Because you clearly went back to nature. Your music videos, you're feeling the country music, and it was much more of an organic sound. You're very organic on this record.
Yes.
As opposed to like the record that you did in 2021, which was a little bit darker. It had a little bit more production involved,
Sure.
which I love too. It's great.
Yes.
So like, where are you at? Are you feeling more organic? Are you feeling more nature bound?
Well, I grew up in small refinery towns in the outskirts of Houston. I grew up listening to 80s and 90s country and some of the mid-century classic stuff too. And those records and that music has been embedded in my DNA as like what good music is. It was my first cultural obsession. So I was kind of country as a kid. I always wanted to live in the city, but there we were, out in the sticks. That's where my parents wanted to live. I started playing guitar as a young person, and then I got into like alternative rock, started exploring all types of genres. Somewhere along the way, I became an artist, writing songs. I came to Vanderbilt to go to school.
What did you study at Vanderbilt?
Art history.
Art history.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool.
Wow, who's the best artist of all time?
Oof. Unanswerable.
A plus. Look at
Yeah,
you. A plus.
It's all relative.
Just know you could be a teacher. That's the
Right.
answer a great
Yeah.
professor would give.
Yeah. My mom said I had to go to college, so I just conveniently chose a college in Music City, USA, because I wanted to be a songwriter.
Why did you choose not to study something in the music business as far as like, you know, art history is a little bit different from music business.
Right.
Yeah. Or composition. Or,
It just didn't seem appealing. And art history was like, wow, I get to look at all of these items. I'm a very visual person. And I also am a big fan, and I have a natural propensity towards contextualizing. You can tell me a couple things about something, and I can hypothesize about why that thing is like that.
Really?
And that's art history, is like looking at objects, getting a couple of clues, and then being like, well, then that's why that's like that.
Isn't that amazing? History in general to me is fascinating.
Totally.
Because then you know that there's the through line from how something got to be
Yes.
all those years ago, and the through line to how it translates and how it made its way to now.
Absolutely.
That's just awesome.
And it was just cool because I was so interested in the world and like seeing more than where I grew up. And my mom did a great job of sending me to camps and stuff in the summer, and I went to different summer schools at like Ivy Leagues, and like she wanted me to see things and experience things. And I got the bug, and I wanted to know more about the world, and I got to learn about humanity from the beginning to now through objects and pictures.
Wow.
So I was like, I have to do art history. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Maybe I'll work in a gallery or a museum. But really, I just want to play music.
Yeah. Either way, that's very sexy stuff. Dad, I'm not going to forget medical school. I'm going to go to art history school.
Art history.
It doesn't sound anything like that, by the way, but it's just more fun for me.
Oh, my God.
That's fantastic. So, wow.
Okay, so graduated from Vanderbilt. I started making different types of music. I started to experiment making DIY records when I was here, blending like Americana with like psych rock and like indie rock and R&B. And then I made my way to New York and really got immersed in like experimental electronic music. So I was bringing my voice and perspective to that type of music and really just was experimenting with all these different formats and genres. Started a band with my friend. We called ourselves Denitia and Scene. His name was Scene. Not a super inventive name, but it worked for us.
Yeah.
And we were doing like electronic pop.
The band, like, was it two of you or was it a...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it was
great.
the two of us. It was really fun. It was really cool. We made a couple of full-length albums, toured all over the place, and had a lot of support, and we were kind of indie darlings back in the day. It was really cool. And then I was just continuing to explore, so I made some solo records, and I kept just experimenting. And all the while, I just was like, man, there's something about a song that just holds up with guitar and vocal.
Yeah.
And that just always had a little bit of pull on me. And so the quarantine happened, and I just was really reaching for something to feel grounded, and I wanted to feel home somehow because it was just very chaotic and uncertain. And I just started to listen back to these old records of my youth, these country records, things that I had never left, but I like re-immersed myself hardcore.
Like who were you, like who did you listen to when you go?
Just George Strait on loop. That's like one of the main ones.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine, Brad, who grew up in Memphis and knows a lot of the same records that I was a fan of as a kid, introduced me to Glenn Campbell. I had never heard Glenn Campbell before. So we were listening to all these different types of music. I started to write this album, Highways, which felt like a return to home for me. In the midst of that, I'm living in Brooklyn. I'm writing this record. Brad and I are making this record remotely because he's down the street, but it's COVID. We're making this record remotely.
By the way, down the street, in apartment speak, that's a lot of stairs. That could be like a mile.
Yeah,
I lived on the 5th floor walk up. You know, from my house to your house, if you lived up on the 5th floor.
That's a lot of walking.
That's a lot of walking. That's a lot of steps, folks. That's why we were so svelte back in New York.
I know. Up and down the subway stairs, just walking. I used to just walk from like West Village to like Times Square just to be doing it. Just to do it.
If I was on the Upper West Side for any reason, which not many reasons, but
you just walk down.
I was at Central Park. I'd be like, I'll just walk. And then before you know it, I'm like, Empire State Building. Before you know it, I'm like, I'm at 23rd Street. I'm like, well, I'm not going to take the train now.
No, I'm not going to take the train now.
I miss walking culture. That's what I miss about living here.
I know.
I miss the culture of walking. You walk out of your house in the city. It's an adventure.
Yeah,
I'm going to go do laundry. Anything can happen. I'll bump into Denitia. Let's go have coffee. Oh, great. Let's have coffee. It's 2 o'clock. Well, I might have a little something to eat. Whatever. Before you know it, it's 4:30, 4:45. Well, why don't we have a glass of wine? Let's have a glass of wine. Okay.
And then off we go.
They say, you know what? And then a friend walks by. Hey, come on over. We're having wine.
I know.
Blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, you just had a day. And you connected and connected and connected and connected. And that's what I miss about living here. I get in my car and I want to kill everybody because you don't know how to drive here in the South. You suck. But
we got to go to Shelby Park and take walks.
You're right. We do have to do that. Yeah. But anyway, you were saying.
So, because you asked me about the nature in the videos.
Exactly.
So in the midst of writing this album, my partner and I decided to move to upstate New York.
Wow, yeah. So beautiful there.
It's so gorgeous in the Hudson Valley. I kind of like was re-immersing myself into nature, into these like country bucolic landscapes. So the reason why I wanted to introduce so much nature into the visuals is because I was coming from a place where there was a lot of production and it was very city and lights and stage design, which is really cool. And I might do that again. But I really wanted to explore the infinite nature of outside and the regenerative nature of it.
Yeah.
And I wanted that to be a part of the visual story that I was telling with my music.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And it really shows. It really does. I was watching your videos. It's like watching...
Healing.
I'm watching...
Life.
I'm watching you in real time in this video growing, you know,
Right.
and as nature is growing. And it's almost like two forms in motion at the same time, which is really all just one thing in motion at the same time, which is really cool.
It is really
It's
cool.
really cool. So we're coming up on the time that is called Americana Fest here in
Yes.
Nashville. I guarantee what a darling you're going to be at Americana Fest.
That's sweet.
I'm so psyched. We're doing some events together.
Yeah.
We're putting on an event. We're doing Car Wheels on a Gravel Road, Lucinda Williams record in its entirety, and you'll be singing on it. And it's just so cool to have you, you know, as a part of it. And what other things do you have going on in Americana Fest, which is, by the way, in Nashville, Tennessee, September 19th through the 23rd.
Yep.
It really is a phenomenal festival. It's funny. My band, we have 2 events that we're hosting.
Yeah.
We are not a part of the Americana Fest Association. They did not give us a pass. We're not a part of Americana Fest, and
Right.
yet we're hosting 2 events.
But you're hosting official events?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
2 of them.
That's rad.
Yeah, it's great.
Cool.
It's
Get
like
in
in
where
the
you fit
system,
in, you know?
out of the system.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. It's like we got a little toe. We got a little toe in
Yeah,
there.
that's going to be cool.
It's going to be cool.
I'm excited about the Lucinda show. It's going to be rad.
Yeah. And so what else are you doing that week? You got any other plans? Any big cool stuff?
Yes.
I bet you do.
I'm playing several things,
I
which
bet
I'm
you
really
are.
excited about.
Care to share?
Yes. I'm doing a full band showcase on Friday night at 9 p.m. at AB Hillsborough Village.
AB, that's a good little spot. Yeah.
Yes. And that same day in the afternoon, I'm playing a showcase with Western AF, which is a really cool video series based out of Montana, and they shoot lots of Americana and country artists across the country. So I'm excited to be a part of that.
Yeah.
CMT is doing an event on that Tuesday at Music Makers.
Wow.
That's a place, right?
That's cool,
I
yeah.
haven't been there yet. And there
I mean,
are
look, it's
several
in the
other
name.
things going on.
They make
Yeah,
music.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
that's what do we call it? Music makers. Sounds good to me. When do I sign the check?
Yeah. So I'm doing several other things that are all on my calendar on Denitia.com and whatnot.
That's fantastic. And this is all the new stuff, Highways. I hate asking this question because I have a record coming out. People go, well, you could play new stuff. I was like, I just played you a new song. It's not even out yet. Like, well, what about new stuff?
I
I'm
know.
like,
I mean, I'm with it.
Is there new stuff? Do you do that? Like,
Yeah.
all right, I have my record out, 2022. It's a brand new record still. But then you write something and you're like, man, I gotta play it now.
Yeah, we just finished my upcoming album.
Huh.
So I'm going to play a couple of songs from that as well.
Do you have a title for it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Wow, this smile right now. I know you can't see it. I'm sitting across from a Christmas tree, folks. An actual real Christmas tree.
Oh my God.
Well, let me ask you a few questions before this is a term they use in the business, before I get you out of here. You ever notice they say that?
Oh my God, before I get you out
They
of
always
here.
say that on the radio or on TV, like, all right, I'll get you out of here
It's
on
very
this.
loaded though, you know? It's like, I'm going to get you out of here.
Yeah,
But before then,
They say it all the time.
I'm going to make you do stuff.
Yeah, they say it all the time.
And then
Like,
you got to get out.
right, like they're doing you a favor. I'm like,
Right,
oh,
right.
great. How about I just get out of here now? How about that? How about I just get
Uh-huh.
out? Yeah. All right. So I just think that's funny. I've always wanted to say that. I feel like a
Gonna
real
get you
journalist.
outta
Now.
here.
Oh, that's great. Before I get you out of here, all right, what fascinates you?
Oh my gosh.
friend.
I think it's something we kind of spoke about earlier, and the way that music and art takes you out of the mundane and puts you into like real life, which is the moment.
That's great. Huh, it's amazing. Sometimes when, I'm waiting for more and you're so specific and you're very determined, like you scare me. I'll tell you right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm afraid of you because you just say what's on your mind
Yeah.
and then you stop. Like, I'll keep going. See what I'm doing now? This is called nervous energy, right? And I'm just like, ba, 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 ba. That couldn't have been enough. I just said one sentence. There has got to be more.
Oh, my
You
God.
just answered and you move on. And I really appreciate that. Thank you for disarming me, and I'm not afraid of you as much.
Okay.
What angers you?
Oh,
Pisses you off, Denitia?
people that refuse to listen or refuse to learn.
Yeah. See? I'll let it go at that. What brings you joy?
Oh, my community, my family, my friends, people,
Right on.
honestly.
If you could fix one thing, magic wand, boom, I got it. It's me, Denitia. I got my magic wand. Flap. What would you do?
Whatever thing about climate change
Hmm.
that isn't inherent or inevitable. Because the climate is always changing from the beginning of time.
Right.
But the part of it that's being accelerated, I would zap it.
Yeah. Does that mean you would zap people? Or you just fix it? No, that's not part of the question.
No.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, I don't want to zap any people.
You would just fix it. See, you're very altruistic. I'll save the world, and then you can think about it, people who made it this way, right?
Listen,
and
a lot of people who made it this way aren't even here anymore.
That's right.
So
they don't even care. I know. Hey, what me worry? I'll be dead by then, right? That's what they say. I know. That's sad. Now the big question, Denitia, is very tough. Toilet paper, over or under?
Oh, yeah. I don't give a shit.
You
don't care.
Gosh, you're so infuriating because you're so wonderful. Denitia,
you're amazing. Thank you.
I value our friendship. I know we're going to hang out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I can say this purely. I love you.
Oh.
Thank you.
You're so sweet.
You really have a joy about you, and you're very precious in your honesty and your integrity and your grace. Thank you so much.
You're the best. Thank you.
You can personally support this show simply by clicking the tip link in the show notes. The Just Keep Talking podcast is now available on all podcast platforms. Please like, share, and subscribe. Visit our website at justkeeptalking.com, our YouTube channel at Just Keep Talking Podcast, and Instagram at The Just Keep Talking Podcast. We all just want to be seen, to be heard, and to belong. Thank you so much for supporting my mission and the Just Keep Talking podcast with me, Brother Love. Until next time.